Welcome to the Translational Addiction Podcast, where we decode the innovative research from the Lotfeepor Lab at UC Irvine, dedicated to translational addiction studies and developing effective treatments. Today, we are joined by Dr. Michelle Wren, a neuroscientist and medical writer whose research has helped illuminate the complex relationship between the gut microbiome and opioid use. And this is the paper that our first podcast reviewed. Dr. Wren earned her PhD in pharmacology from UC Irvine, where she was awarded the prestigious National Institute on Drug Abuse T32 training grant and the International Narcotics Research Conference Travel Award for her contributions to addiction science. Her work has been published in multiple peer-reviewed journals exploring topics like the neurodevelopmental effects of nicotine and the gut-brain axis in fentanyl use. Dr. Wren currently serves as a senior medical writer at Flywheel Partners, where she creates educational content for the pharmaceutical industry, but she's now preparing to transition into the medical device space, bringing her scientific insight and communication expertise to a new frontier. We hope you enjoy this interview.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, hi. Good, how are you?
Good.
I wanted to ask you, Dr. Lobefore told me you ran marathons, and I wanted to hear about what that was like.
Oh, yeah, sure. I started running marathons, I think in 2019. That was my first. Like before that, I like ran for a couple of years maybe. But so since then, I guess it's not new. It feels like it's been a long time. I've run like one or two every year since then, except for this year, my off year. But it's been fun. Like I think it's like I think maybe my expectations were really like crazy. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was. Not that I'm saying it wasn't hard, but it was just like because of the schedule that I had always had when I started. I was in grad school, and it was really easy to train for it because I could just like take off kind of like whatever time I wanted. And so I think that helped a lot. Like I think for people who are working full-time jobs or have kids or things like that, it can be more difficult. But for me, it's like I had the time. It's like, of
Yeah.
course, the energy was the hardest part.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone around me is picking up running. Like my sister, she's in med school right now, and she's never ran in her life. And for some reason, she's running like 5Ks right now. My roommates are all running the like Philly Love Run. I'm like, what are you guys?
Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh.
There's like some kind of plague that's fucking
Yeah.
everyone up.
Marching in pickleball, that's like those are the things
I
now.
know. It's like cooking
Yeah.
and running. I don't know why everyone is doing it right now.
Well, you said
But
you're a triathlete, right? Or was that
Oh, that's
some
me. I do.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy.
yeah. Okay, I haven't done a full triathlon, just like the sprint distances. So
Yeah,
it
that's
takes like an hour, but I don't know. I've honestly never really been that into biking, but I do like the running and swimming.
yeah, and I think I heard some crazy thing about swimming with you. Maybe it wasn't the
Oh,
or
yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so fun. Like this summer I swam the Catalina Channel. So it was like from Catalina to PV.
uh-huh.
Um but yeah, that I've really been wanting to do that for like the last couple of years, and then it was a like it was crazy. It was pretty like I don't know. I'm done with ultra events after that.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't
oh my
imagine.
God.
Like, I don't know. I think with like running, it's easier because you can take a break, you can walk, you can even just like stop and sit.
Yeah,
Swimming,
yeah.
like float, which takes energy.
Oh my gosh, I
It's tiring.
know.
I can never. Like
Ah,
that's the reason I could never do a triathlon is because I am a really bad swimmer and I'm scared
swimming.
of road biking. So really, like running's all that I.
Oh. No, that's so valid, honestly. Like, okay, because I've done one marathon. I don't want to ever do another one, but like it was such a more like enjoyable experience, I feel
Mm.
like. And you can talk to people and
Yeah, yeah. And there's
so
people
much more chill.
and like
Yeah. Yeah.
open water is kind of scary too by itself. It's just like
Yeah, like the abyss kind
yeah.
of. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Um, would you mind also introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about like your scientific career and your journey so far, or like whatever background there you want
Oh
to
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, so right now I've been working for the past 2.5 years as a medical writer. I work at a medical communications agency. The focus is on pharmaceutical sales training and education. Before that is when I pursued my PhD at the Lotfoper Lab. I studied the relationship between gut bacteria and fentanyl use in rats. And like when I started grad school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought that what I wanted was to do research at a pharma company or really like any healthcare setting. But I think like throughout grad school, like after running experiments, writing, presenting, doing all those things, like I realized what I liked was the science communication. So that's why I don't actually do research anymore. I'm not in the research field, but I'm still in science, which I really like what I do now. I wasn't even sure what it meant, like medical writing. I just knew I wanted to do something science communication-ish. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can you like go into what medical writing means? Because like Michaela and I are obviously also very into science communications,
right.
making this podcast, which is like such a cool and creative endeavor. So I feel like I'm interested to know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think there's a lot of different types of medical writing. And so there's like regulatory writing, clinical writing, sales training, medical communication. So it really like depends on like the setting that you work in, your audience and the goals.
What do you like normally write about, or like what's your favorite kind of type of writing, I guess?
So what I do at work is like I write, it's like my favorite are these electronic modules. Well, everything that we do is electronic. I don't know why I specified the
Yeah.
electronic part, but the like a big thing that we've done is create like new hire curriculums for like new trainees on the sales team. So the agency is an independent agency, and then we our clients are pharmaceutical companies. So the writing that we do is for the sales training. It's like sales representatives within those companies.
Okay.
And so I find it fun. Like I've always like been into education, like teaching, and so I enjoy writing the modules because it starts well because they're pretty long and they're pretty thorough. So it's like we educate about the disease state, and then we go into like the competitive landscape, and then that specific drug, and then the clinical trial data, things like that.
Okay. Oh, that's so interesting. Or this quarter, I'm in like a neuropharm class, and so I've learned like a little bit about like, um, I guess bridging the gap between pharmaceutical companies and then like the research behind. But I think that's a really cool field. Um, Specifically about research, why were you interested, like maybe going into grad school, why were you interested in research and specifically in addiction work?
Yeah. I think research was always something that I was curious about. Like I've always been like I like learning, I like school, and I always like the idea of like being able to contribute to what we learn, finding new things, solving puzzles. Like at the time, like before I knew what research was, I thought it was just like, oh, I would discover something new. So, it's actually like a pretty small, like a very slow like process, but it's been it's always been something I've like wanted to do, just like to immerse myself more into a topic. Because in undergrad, it's like learning a wide variety of things, kind of surface level, and I didn't feel like it was enough to just know a little bit about everything. And so I wanted to dig deeper. In addiction work in particular, like I feel like I don't have a lot of scientific interests. I like neuroscience, I like chemistry, and that's like pretty much it. And I thought like pharmaceuticals and addiction, things like that is like kind of the a way to combine both of those things. I mean, it's like a field that it's never boring. There's always something new, and it's pretty relevant for everyone, even if someone themselves doesn't struggle with addiction. It's something that impacts everyone in some way.
I guess I'm relatively newer to the lab, but I haven't seen anybody else really researching like addiction in the context of the gut microbiome.
Mhm.
So, I guess why were you interested in that too? Or did you find anything that was like really interesting to
Yeah, I think a lot of the work with the gut microbiome is in development. I think at the time that I started the project, it was a very trendy field, and I don't think it's gotten less trendy, but at
Yeah.
the time it was like very popular. I think we were discovering like all the ways that the gut microbiome interacted with behavior and like other brain processes and things like that. And so I can't actually remember like how we started it. It was like a brand new thing our lab was doing, but I was really interested in it because it's like some previous work that I had done before I joined grad school, or because I did a master's. It was a very short program, but the lab that I was in was studying gut bacteria in like a totally different context, and that wasn't even my project. It was just something that I was kind of exposed to. But I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I would love to be able to do that someday too. And then
Yeah.
somehow like the opportunity came. I really can't remember. It might have been like a talk that we attended or
Okay.
something like that. But
That's fair. What like was working on that work like, and like what stands out to you now when you like think back on it from that line of investigation in your work like today?
yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people like they hear about what I did and they were just it's like gross because it's we were like
Oh my gosh.
but it really was like it didn't feel like that at all. I thought it was cool. I think it was frustrating that I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do because like we studied like the bidirectional relationship. So it's like we manipulated the gut bacteria with antibiotics to see how that impacted behavior. And then we tried to like feed back with short chain fatty acids, which is just a substrate that it's like created by bacteria in the gut, to see if that would like restore back to baseline behavior. And then what we really wanted to do was like a fecal microbiome transplant, which is like the part it's like gross. It's like a poop
Yeah.
transfer. We didn't get to do that part, but I think what stood out to me wasn't really addiction work itself, but like how those type of experiments did impact animals. Like they found a lot of like connections with it's like fecal transplants and other behaviors, specifically in development. I think that's most of the work was done there. But also learning about like a germ-free model. It's like mice that were born into like a sterile environment and then raised to continue to be germ-free. It's
Hmm.
like really interesting to learn that they're not normal. Like we
Oh.
need like bacteria to survive and to thrive.
You're right in saying that it's become more trendy though, because I was just in class today. I'm taking like a neuroscience class on opioids, shocker. But this girl was telling me about how she watched in a documentary on Netflix about like this woman whose life like a fecal transplant saved. So I feel like people are
Yeah.
getting more desensitized to it and it's entering the mainstream more.
Yeah, and it's not as, like, weird as it sounds. It's not like
Yeah.
they're I don't know. Don't need to get into how it's done.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool, like, it's like, people call the gut, like, the second brain.
Yeah.
It's cool how it connects to the actual brain.
Yeah. I remember reading about that in the paper, the role of the gut microbiome in opioid use. But I thought that was like the most interesting part to me because I don't know. I guess it like kind of also makes sense if or like even in a more like short-term context of like maybe you're really hungry and you haven't eaten in a while and then like when you do eat, you have the like or you just like feel better and you're less like moody, I guess. But yeah, I think that's really cool. The fecal microbiome transplant was like I don't know, interesting.
Also, in our class, we talk a lot about like chronic pain patients and like interventions for them. And so for me, it was really exciting to read about that because I think that there's so much like lost hope with chronic pain stuff, and addiction medicine that like it's exciting to like broaden the lens of what we see as like biological targets we can intervene in and to think that there are like potential interventions we haven't tried yet for that population. So I thought it was a very interesting paper.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that was cool. Um, so I guess shifting gears a little bit, how did your time at UC Irvine kind of shape your scientific identity? And, or I don't know if it did shape your scientific identity at all. And do you have any favorite memories either from the Lot Vapor Lab or UCI in general?
Yeah, when I think about UCI, there's like two main things that stand out. One was like it was called Brain Camp. It was this thing I volunteered for. It was like a 2-week immersive summer camp for high schoolers. I think there were some middle schoolers too, but it was to teach them about neuroscience. This was right before the pandemic happened, but it was really fun and really rewarding. At the time, I was maybe interested in teaching and wasn't really sure if I wanted to, and that like reinforced that I really liked outreach and education. And then some other experiences I've had in the lab or going to conferences, and those have been like really fun. My favorite one was when we went to Spain.
Wow.
This is like a
Ooh.
narcotics conference. Yeah, it was really fun. It's cool to see like the faces of the people whose like papers you read, the research that's done. You're like, oh, that person's this person, and then you can like ask them questions in real life, and it's like it's really cool. Like in lab, things sometimes they can feel like really tedious over time, really boring, and kind of just like do the same thing every day and not really seeing the big picture. But I think conferences really help get outside of that and like see why the work you do is important and that other people are doing similar things. And yeah, conferences are really fun. I don't know if you,
Totally. I just got to go to like one of my first ones, but in some ways they feel kind of insular and academic, but in other ways it's like so exciting to see like people from all over the world interested in the same questions and like it's like all these people interested in the same like micro like field of
yeah,
science and it's very cool.
crazy depending on the size. Like I think, yeah, some are more fun versus it's like lectures all day.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and I guess like this is a question we also asked Dr. Castro, but we like want to hear what's like next for you scientifically, or like what excites you in science right now, or is on your mind. Like what questions come up for you now?
Yeah, so I'm actually like, this is a weird time because I'm transitioning to a new job soon in like a couple weeks. And so I'm still going to be medical writing, but I'm going to be the focus is going to be on medical devices rather than pharmaceuticals, and it'll be more clinical regulatory work rather than like training. So I'm really excited about that. That's like a whole new field I'm going to learn about. So it's not, even though I'm not in research anymore, it still kind of feels like in some ways I am. Like I'm still learning about new things and uncovering things that haven't been done yet.
Yeah, I feel like that constant evolution is so exciting in science, and it's like partly what draws me to it is like you're never like in one job forever. It feels like the questions are always changing and like your role is always
Yeah.
changing.
It's funny how some people outside of science will think that once someone is in science, they know all science, but it's like so untrue. There's only one science that like we know when we're learning it. And even then it's not enough. Well, yeah.
So really then like you just know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you have any advice at all for aspiring researchers or maybe even people who are interested in getting into medical writing?
Yeah, sure. I guess it depends on what stage they're in. Like for like the pieces of advice I'd give. I think for it's like really specific to people looking to join a lab. Like the advice I would give would be to focus more on the relationship with like the advisor and the people in the lab. Um, like I think for most grad programs, students will go through rotations so they can get a feel for how the lab fits. Like I think personally it's more important like how you get along with the people and the support you have there versus like the passion you have for the research. Like it's good to like what you do, but I really think someone will get farther with the right support. And then the other it's like more general advice for people looking to get into research, I guess, would be to like reframe like what they think failure is and adjust their expectations. Like I think like a lot of people who want to do research, they're already like pretty high achieving people and have probably done well in everything in their life. In the research world, it's like really normal and like almost expected for things to not go well. Like experiments are going to fail at some point for whatever reason, and it's important to know that that's normal, and
Yeah.
it's not really a reflection of anything about you, even if you do everything right. So I wish I knew that when I started research. Like I knew failure was pretty common. That's what everyone told me, but it's like not really something I was prepared for because I was good at like things up until that point.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess for medical writing, yeah, I missed that part for people interested in that. I think it's like most importantly to just make connections with people who are in it. Like I got pretty lucky when I started looking for jobs. There were openings. I think right now is it's kind of a tough time in the job market, but I think there's still a lot that can be done. Even if like someone wants to start doing work on the side, it doesn't have to be like real work, but just getting experience in any way, joining clubs. There's like a society, like the American Writers Medical. I'm not saying it right. I could look it up later, but it's like,
No, it's like,
yeah, just getting more involved in things like that and like
yeah.
having the connections really helps.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think even in the jobs that I've had, even if you love what you do, if the work environment is not good, then it's kind of difficult to succeed or do well in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not enough to just like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Another last thing I just thought of, I was kind of wondering if you had any like opinions or things you wanted to share about like AI in your field, because I feel like it's like especially prevalent in research, but I can imagine like that it's on your mind a lot. So if you have anything you'd like to say about that.
Yeah, I think it's also one of those things right now that's it's very trendy and eventually
Yeah.
it'll sort itself out. Like at the moment, it's really frustrating that AI is taking jobs from people and it's not since it's so new, it's not really accurate. Like Google AI is like a big example of like when you search something and then it has the AI overview. And I would say like 99% of the time, it's not really correct. Like maybe it's pulling info from Reddit, just random things online.
Yeah.
So I think it can be a pretty valuable tool sometimes. And in some cases, and eventually I think it could be much better once it's smoothed out. But at the moment, it angers me. I don't really.
Oh,
Although in
yeah.
my job, I am going to have to use it. And it has helped me, but it's also like anything in life, I think like no one should be reliant on one tool. I think it can help eventually. It's just
Okay.
we're having too much fun with it right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think it's hard if you use it to like think for you, but
Yeah.
if you use it like just to assist, then it's, I don't know, in moderation, it's like
Right. Yeah.
okay. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. And we really enjoyed reading your paper. That was the first podcast I did, and I thought it was a really
Oh my
cool
gosh, yeah, I
introduction
forgot.
to the lab.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that was cool. I listened to it. I was really excited to hear it. It's like, wow,
Oh
she picked
yay.
really well.
Oh my gosh. Did you, I don't know, what did you think of it?
No, it was great. It was accurate, and I was
Okay.
oh I didn't because I it's been a few years since I had written it,
Yeah.
and I don't even remember if I wrote that like that's
Oh
like
my gosh. Thank you so
Thank you for your
much.
time, Noah. It was so nice to meet you.
yeah. Thanks for
So
having me.
nice to
Fun.
meet you. Thank you again, Dr. Michelle Wren, for taking the time to speak with Tanvi and I today. We really appreciate your insight and hope our listeners enjoyed our conversation as much as we did. If you're interested in learning more about the gut microbiome and other research from the Lotfipor Lab, follow us on Instagram at Translational Addiction Pod for updates and check out the infographics and papers on the Lotfipor Lab website linked in the show notes. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, you are not alone. Please contact your healthcare provider or refer to the resources linked in the show notes. The Translational Addiction Podcast is a production of the Lotfipor Lab at UC Irvine, exploring how to understand addiction and develop effective treatments. See you next time, and thank you for listening.